The national lockdown has left thousands jobless, homeless, and some in a serious state of depression due to the coronavirus pandemic. As the economy recovers, many are still reeling from the shocking impact of the virus and are taking stock of what they've lost. However, it's through simple acts of kindness that many have been able to recover, eat, and get back on their feet again. One foundation, the Big R, is extending its helping hand to assist those in need during the lockdown. To talk to us more about giving a helping hand in those initiatives, we're now joined by the executive chairperson of the foundation, Mr. Sobri Tshabalala. Mr. Tshabalala, thank you so very much for joining us here on SABC News.
Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Just as a start, talk to us about your foundation and the sort of initiatives that you've undertaken to help those in needy communities.
Well, the foundation has identified one of the problems be education. So we then embarked that we'll engage people in financial education. Mm-hmm. And then we are doing this. We have done it since from 2015. And then as you are talking about, the lockdown and the impact of it, I'm sure you know that a lot of people have lost their jobs. And then apart from that is the issue of people being vulnerable and getting sick. Now, what we did as the foundation, we identified the township in Tembisa called Phumulo. On the basis that the majority of us in the foundation here are from Tembisa. So it's always good to plow back where you come from. We are Kempton Park based, but we decided that we'll engage the community in Tembisa. So what we did, we then identified Phumulo. We spoke to the ward councillors in the area to assist us to identify elderly people, because elderly people are the most vulnerable people. And then, lucky enough, the National Lottery Commission of South Africa gave us some funding, about 91,000, to distribute some PPEs. Yeah. And then we then said we'll further engage the youth, as you are talking about the impact of this pandemic. And then so that the youth can be able to get some stipends. Yeah. And then we then said we are going to take only girls. The majority of them were girls, and one of them was disabled. And then all those girls were engaged, and some few boys to assist. But those girls were assisting the parents so that we can be able to distribute to them. Mm-hmm. And then we're distributing the mask. As you can see, one of them is this one. Yeah. And then, as you can see, it's both Lottery and the Big R Foundation. And then we also gave them the sanitizers. But before we did that, we had to put them together in a hall, which we did yesterday. But prior to that, on Friday, we went in to fumigate the place. And then on Saturday, during the day of the event, in the morning, we fumigated the place. And thereafter, we had this meeting. And fortunately enough, the president said, if you are in a venue that takes 250, as long as you can have half. We had about half of the place that can take 250 people. And then thereafter, we demonstrated how should they use this. Yeah. And at the same time, it was also an opportunity with them to share with us what is happening in the township. So what I found very interesting, our elderly are very clued up. I think the information has reached them. They understand that they need to wash their hands, they need to mask, they need to keep social distancing. And then it was a very exciting event, which really assisted those majority people. Yeah. And then... Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Tshabalala, I like the fact that, you're also... not just sort of handing out and just sort of making people reliant on you. You mentioned the fact that, you're also giving financial education. And at the time where, of course, as you earlier mentioned, there's a high unemployment level in the country. And then the fact that, COVID-19 also caused a situation where many people had to sort of lose jobs and so forth. I'd like to know what, you're teaching as you're you're teaching financial education? I mean, a lot of people sort of live hand to mouth, and a lot of people will say, even if you are to say, save some money for rainy days when something happens, and some people will tell you, actually, I can't. There's not enough to be able to save so that I can make enough for when there is that rainy day. What are the sort of lessons that perhaps you are imparting, particularly on the youth, when it comes to the issue of saving? When you give this financial education, what are some of the lessons that you're giving, and are they really sort of taking it in, all the lessons that you are giving at this time?
Look at people always, it's not enough. You can ask anyone, you can ask Bill Gates today, he'll tell you that it's not enough. So there'll always not be enough. But now what do you do? The message that we inculcate is the little that you have, the first thing that you need to do as a person, if you draw up a budget, because this is how people do. People draw up a budget, they have their expenses and their obligations, and the last item that is being included there, it should be savings. And because they spend, at the end of the day, there's nothing left, then they don't save. Now, we are saying do it differently, the other way around. When you have a budget, start saving first.
Yeah.
So in other words, your saving should be part of the budget. You save first, then you budget the remainder. Now, the research has shown that the people who are rich, they spend 15% or even less of their money to their consumptions. Now, the majority of the people who are poor, they spend 100%, sometimes a little bit scary, they spend 200%.
Yeah.
Now, what does that
Mashonisa is involved.
It means, yes, it means you have spent your money and then thereafter you borrow now.
Yeah.
Okay, now you are living on debt. And what is Mashonisa? Mashonisa goes beyond what people think. Mashonisa can also include credit card, overdraft. Because I always argue and say Mashonisa is not the institution, Mashonisa is the intention. You see, when you borrow money for consumption, that's Mashonisa.
Yeah.
That pulls you down, okay? So that's kind of teachings that we have. And we encourage these kids to have piggy banks, to put the money into their piggy banks. And once they put money into their piggy banks, and then we also assist them to open up their bank accounts. And then once it's full, they take their money back to the bank and save. Because if you don't save, definitely you're not going to make money.
Yeah.
Look how we learn by learning from other people. Now, let's look at the countries that are rich. China is the big saver, so that is why they're doing well.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how they should learn. And one of the things that brings the importance of learning is discipline. And now when we're dealing with the kids and say, we started to instill discipline. On Friday, we met to rehearse, and then we said to the youth, those who are not coming on Friday for rehearsal, we cut them off. They are not going to stay, get stipends. And guess what? Almost all of them came, only one did not come. And what did we do? We did not compromise. We cut that one off, we replace it with another one.
Yeah.
So that should be the discipline. And that's what we lack in the country, the discipline. The same with budget. Once you have money, you must be disciplined to do that.
Yeah.
So that is why, and like I said, we were very thankful when lottery came to the picture to say, guys, here is money. Let's see how can you do it.
Yeah.
So that it help us to do that. Yeah.
What other partnerships are you looking? And it's very good that you've got Lotto. I mean, that must be a great partnership to be having. I mean, I'm sure you'd like to also have these sort of programs in other communities. Outside of Tembisa, I can think of Soweto. I'm from Soweto, for example, so automatically I'd initially think of Soweto. But are you thinking indeed of expanding and bringing these kinds of programs, to other sort of townships, or where you identify communities who might indeed then need this kind of assistance?
Naturally, you have to do that. I'll give an example before I go there.
Yeah.
Some people ask me, Sobri, exactly where do you come from? I was born in Harrismith, all right? And according to my parents, we were left when I was 1. I went to Bethlehem. I spent about 8 years. Then I went back to Harrismith another 3 years. I came to Tembisa. I spent more years in Tembisa. I stayed in Kempton Park. So people in Tembisa, they think that I'm from Tembisa. People in Bethlehem, they think that, but for me, that's where I come from.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy to go back there and assist those people. As so it, why not? Let's go back. Any township we identify with them, all right? Now, if business can come to the party and help us, just like the lottery did, then it will help us to be able to impart, all right? Because it's not only about giving out, it's also being coupled with education. As I was telling you, that some of these kids who were starting to display ill discipline, we started showing that we are going to take an act. And I was giving an example as I was talking to the parents and the kids and say, gone are the days of the culture of dependency. And I was telling them about the experience that I have, that I saw in Tembisa. You know, people would go to an open space and open up a school. People say, you know what? I don't want money, but I'm going to volunteer. Oh, you don't want money? Of course. And the majority of them not qualified. After 6 months, the very same people who said that, they mobilized the community, they marched to the district office. You see, the intention was wrong, all right? People should have declared right from the beginning that, no, we are looking for employment, all right? But don't pretend as if you are assisting and then hijack it with a wrong intention. Now, when the department is starting to select people, then they start realizing that some of them are not qualified. Then they said, if you don't take us, the school will not proceed. So that's ill discipline, which needs to be dealt with. And that is why I was giving them that example to say, hence I insisted that you guys, when we say arrive at 10, it must be 10. When we start at 10, we start at 10. All right? And then these are very important principles. And then we showed them, that is why we're engaging the councillors, that you don't work in isolation. You work with community stakeholders.
Yeah.
So it was a very nice event. Councillor Kwele from assisted us, and Councillor Sibanyoni from Wet 13. They were very helpful. Okay? Right. And then it was very good because it's a collaboration. And guess what? We're at a church, which is another community institution that should be part of those dealing with these ills in the society.
All right, Mr. Sobri Chabalala, thank you so very much for talking to us, and thanks a lot for the work indeed that
as you can
you
see
are
here.
doing.
All right?
Yes, I can see. Yes, I can. Thank you very much for joining us here on SABC News. It was a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much, sir. All the best of luck.
Really, thank you.